Hello, my dudes. Welcome to Tying a Tie Unlike a Tie because we don't like collared shirts very much. And today we are going to do rows with a rolled center. Now, if you saw episode 1 of this series, you'll have seen the rows entirely done by the folding under method. Or if you've actually learned how to do the accordion with the tie, if you pull through one end, actually let's show you that. Let's show you that really quick. We'll show you the accordion rows, and then we'll show you the rolled center rows. So for an accordion rows, just like the accordion that we did in the last video, start with your tie, fold it in half, scooch the ends out so that they make a 90 degree, and then we want to do the same thing as last video, where we go top to bottom, left to right. We always want our underlapped excess to cross over that center square workspace. If you look up how to do a paper accordion, if you're having difficulty following this video or the last one, feel free to look up how to make a paper accordion. That is the exact same principle, or usually friendship lanyards have a very similar principle. Usually with more strings though, so I guess that gets a little bit more confusing. So this is just what they do with paper accordions. So we're accordioning our tie, just like last video. And then I get to show you the difference between this and the rolled rows. Accordion. Still accordioning. And this is actually how I learned to do the rows when I was maybe 11 years old or so. My grandma had a book about tying ribbon into interesting present bows, and so they show you how to make a rose like this. And of course, like any good scientist, I decided to completely deconstruct it. Alright, so we have our accordion, and at this point you could either put your accordion around my neck and go, oh, I have an accordion around my neck, or if you want to take your hand and wrap it around, choose one of the ends. I'm going to pull my smaller end, and hold your hand loosely but firmly enough that that edge is going to stay taut. So your center one can move, your other end will not. See how it's bundling up on itself? Yeah, see how I gathered that in my hand? Now I've got this excess. This is all the stuff that I gathered in my hand. What happens when I move that a little bit outwards? I'm unraveling this slightly. Sometimes it naturally does exactly what I want to. Sometimes you gotta help it along a little bit. So we're unraveling. It sort of did what I wanted. And carefully unraveling again. And it looks pretty gross, but that's the principle for how I originally learned how to do a rose. And yeah, that really doesn't look good. If we tie it tighter in the middle. Maybe I didn't tie it close enough. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Alright, so I made the middle just a little bit tighter is what I was sort of missing. And even though the lining's starting to peek through, that's how I learned how to make a rose. And from that, I deconstructed it one piece at a time and went, oh, if I fold under like this, oh, I see. Oh, look at that. That's folded under. That's folded under. That's folded under. That's the exact same thing as the entirely folded under rows that we did in the first video. That's how that's made. Now, this is how this one is different. This one we can't do from pulling that tight because we have to start off the center a different way. You're going to start at the small end here and just roll it like a croissant, like a fruit roll-up, however you want to say. See how I keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling until you have a good amount. And for me, I'm going to feel it's the amount of about a small rose unraveling that looks to be about 2 feet long. So we're going to do that again. Just roll it up again because I undid it to show you. Rolling and rolling and rolling. Whee! Until you have roughly 2 feet rolled up, or it's just over an inch wide across the center diameter. You can do less, you can do more. Maybe I'll do a little bit less and then unravel a little bit so it looks a little more natural. Whatever you like to do. Again, it's your rose. Now, we're going to apply the same principle as the first video. And this is, flip it around so you can watch my hands. There we go. This is starting from the bottom, flipping it over, and then wrapping this around so that it goes around the far edge of my left side there. So once again, starting from the bottom, flipping it over, wrapping it around. And just kind of cram everything into your left hand once you're done making it pretty. Start from the bottom, flip it over, wrap it around. Start from the bottom, flip it over, wrap that around. Start from the bottom, flip over, wrap around. And what this does is combines, start from the bottom, flip over, wrap around, combines that lovely rolled in the center method for very tiny petals with the bigger petal look of the wrapped rose. Oop, no, get back in there. If it starts to jump out at you, either you gotta start over or be very careful and catch it. And guide it to where you want to go. Start from the bottom, flip over, wrap around. See how that came around? That's so pretty. Start from the bottom, flip over, wrap around. Start from the bottom, flip over, wrap around. And same thing going all the way around. And you can start to see that again, I forego the 90-degree wraparound for about a 45-degree wraparound. Now that it starts to look more like a rose and I can guide it into doing what I want. Oh, see again, we have this little piece of fabric here that we can use later. Very nice. And for this one, either you can just make it a rose and then pin it to your neck, or if you have to do the tie method, leave enough on this end to go around your neck. So we're going to leave about that much. Yeah, for this one, I highly recommend pinning it. It is tricky to get it to behave just as a regular wrapped one. Possible, but not suggested. So as you can see, if I hold very, very, very still, I might be able to get it to stay in place, but honestly, the easier method is just to get a pin. So maybe we'll save this one for hairpins and the like. Yeah, that should do it. So you get a pin, undo your pin there, wrap this around your neck. This one is definitely a trickier one to work with. And then for this one, you've got to cram it through both ends of the pieces that are around your neck, plus the tie itself, which maybe we'll use 2 separate pins. So we're pinning through the rose itself, just cramming it in a couple of the layers. You get the feel for it after you make 1 or 2 of these. Yeah, that sounds good. Pinning that in place. If your pin's behaving, mine is not. There we go. And as you can see, whoop, it does come out pretty easily, so make sure to remember to pin the middle part. But you get the idea with that one. You can make a rolled center rose. They are just a lot more finicky and more tricky to keep in place. Alright, stay tuned for next episode, which is the collar look, where you make a collar out of a tie. Thanks for watching. Take care.